Our big focus this evening. Are the serious questions sparked off after another gruesome attack on a doctor in the line of duty at a leading government hospital, this time in Chennai? Senior oncologist Dr. Balaji Jagannath was allegedly stabbed repeatedly by a 26-year-old man whose mother was being treated by the doctor at the hospital. The accused allegedly had a heated altercation with the doctor over the treatment being given to his mother, and after which he stabbed the doctor repeatedly inside the crowded hospital with a small knife. Injuries to the doctor's neck and the upper parts of his body is what has been reported. The doctor who was critically injured in that attack is reportedly stable now and is being treated at the same hospital. The incident, which is the latest, remember, in a long list of attacks on doctors, yet again exposes the dangers that doctors face, especially from angry kin. It's more pronounced in government hospitals, and studies by the IMA, the Indian Medical Association, that is, have shown that a majority of doctors have encountered such violence at workplaces, and highlights the needs to find ways to protect them. Let's first play for you the immediate reactions from Chennai before we head to our special panel lined up to discuss the issue this evening.
Doctors are feeling unsecured, sir. The doctors are in a very painful mindset. One, I can say there is a security lapse. Number two, I can say there is a lack of fear among the people about the law. And more important, I will say the people change of mind. We want capital punishment for the accused because this is a very brutal attack. The assaulted doctor condition is in a very pathetic situation. He is in a critically ill stage. And we want two-tier security system. We want licensed gun for the casualty medical officers. And we want armed persons also inside the premises, and we want police outpost, and those police should be in a fit police, not a police person with medical ailments. That should not happen as which is routinely happening now.
It is an accident. The patient's mother has been infected with cancer. She's a cancer patient. She has been taking treatment here for the last 6 months. After here, he has shifted his mother to a private hospital. There, the doctors have misguided him, so he is coming back. He's come back here.
Any steps to be taken to enhance security?
He's had a conversation with the Dr. Balaji for half an hour. The person has been arrested. The legal action will be taken. We have assured the safety of all the doctors. There are no security labs. We cannot be frisking everybody who's coming to the hospital.
Hospital is situated inside the center of the city. It is not situated somewhere in hill station or somewhere in a rural station. So inside the city, the center of location, the government is not able to give a protection for the who is life-saving doctors. The doctors are life-saving gods. Even they are not able to give a protection, safety for the life-saving person. What about the common man? That's what my question. It's a well-planned assault. So government has to take a strong and stringent action to prevent all those things. That's what our honorable leader of opposition is keep telling about the law and order is not good. It is not maintaining by the DMK government.
Well, so the important question, what can we do to keep our lifesavers safe? Is enough being done? Is much needed? Are there deeper issues? And is it more than just security and frisking and issues of that nature? Tough but important questions that need to be raised yet again. Remember, the number of such incidents on the rise in India. Joining us this evening live from the Kalaignar Centenary Super Speciality Hospital in Chennai is NDTV's Sam Daniel, who's been tracking that story very closely. Also with us, Dr. Anita Ramesh, who's a friend of Dr. Balaji Jagannath, who was attacked and works alongside him at a private hospital. She, in fact, even earlier in the day went and got to meet Dr. Balaji's wife and saw him at the hospital where he's being treated. Dr. R.V. Ashokan, National President of the Indian Medical Association. Dr. Rohan Krishnan, Chairman of the FIMA Doctors Association, that's the Federation of All India Medical Associations, Doctor Association, who's joining us as well. Thanks very much to all of you for joining us. Sam Daniel, first to you. We believe there is a meeting going on between the health secretary, government officials and doctors. What are the immediate demands? And give us a sense of what doctors at the hospital are telling you at this stage. It must have been shocking for those who worked with Dr. Balaji Jagannath there at that very hospital.
Doctors are worried and shocked, Veera Raghav. They say they work with a sense of fear, helplessness, and worry. The condition of Dr. Balaji is stable. And just a short while ago, the talks between the Government Doctors Association and the Health Minister and senior bureaucrats at the Secretariat got over, and the government, the Health Minister, has agreed to fulfill many of the demands put up by the doctors. To begin with, at least 3 demands will be immediately fulfilled. Putting up of police outposts at all government hospitals, including this particular Kalinga Centenary Hospital. Number 2, to ensure all the hospitals would have CCTVs, including the primary health centers, where the CCTV installation is complete, but they're ready to make it functional because they have to connect that to a server. Thirdly, they say they will also ensure restriction of attenders. That's a major concern and major demand by the doctors, to make sure the number of visitors to government hospital inpatients would be restricted. They will also replicate the system being followed by the Rajiv Gandhi Government Medical College Hospital in Chennai, where, like private hospitals, they have introduced a system, and they plan to expand that to all the government hospitals across the country, across the state. And we are waiting for further details, but so far the Health Minister and a few members of the Doctors Association who are part of the meeting, they confirmed to us that they will not go for a strike. They have agreed to fulfill many of the demands by the government, and the Doctors Association too will come and briefly update us, but they say they're quite happy with the developments. Veera Raghav.
Right, important points that you're giving us there, Sam Daniel. You're saying most importantly that the doctors are working with the government to improve measures and not really going into protest, which could disrupt medical services, which was one of the worries of the administrators, at least till late this evening. Dr. Anita Ramesh, first give us a sense of how Dr. Balaji is right now. You met his family as well at the hospital. First, give us a sense of what you heard from them firsthand.
Yeah, very good evening for having me here. Yes, I am a colleague of Dr. Balaji. I am also a medical oncologist based in southern India. I know him for years. So after hearing the news, I did rush to the hospital, but I went later part of the afternoon. There was huge security, media, but I managed to went to the ICU. I met Dr. Balaji, and Dr. Balaji's condition is stable. He had bleeding, he had injuries, and he was also on antiplatelet, for which the bleeding was more. I had a discussion with the cardiothoracic surgeon in the ICU. They are taking care of him. He was initially ventilated, then they put him on the ventilator for subtype, and then the ventilator was extubated, and they are giving blood products, that is the fresh frozen plasma, so that the bleeding does not come back again. The antiplatelets has been stopped. Oxygen is continuing. He's kept in the ICU for observation. I did meet him. He did give me a smile, and we had to assure him, yes, we are fine. His daughter, who is also a doctor, and I know her personally, finally, she's a house staff. She's accompanying Dr. Balaji there. I know his wife also personally, and I met the wife and just counseled her, and things looks much better, but he is still has to be in ICU because of we have to observe him, what happens. There should not be any fresh bleed, but hopefully in the God's grace, he is better, right. Much better.
Right, hopefully in God's grace he'll recover soon. It must have been a shock for you to see a friend being attacked that way, and a colleague as well. Dr. Rohan Krishnan, we've discussed this issue repeatedly. This is not the first time that such an attack has taken place. Is this just about security measures, or is there a deeper reality that we are missing, that perhaps doctors are being exposed to on a daily basis? This is not just about frisking or safety measures. That's one important aspect of it. But is there a deeper sociological reality that doctors are contending with that we are perhaps not discussing enough?
It is obvious that it is having much deeper values, and it is having much deeper sense that today no doctor who is working in a government setup, in a private setup, in any setup feels that he is safe and secured. Forget about the pride, and forget about the the nature which was there of the relationship between the patient and doctor, which was there around 10 years back or 20 years back. That has completely lost. The faith has completely been lost. Now today, patients think that we are just paying for a service and that is it. But even doctors when we see such incidences happening, be it RG car, be it in Delhi, be it in Chennai now, everyone gets mentally traumatized. Everyone has a fear that now if I deal with a sick patient, now if I deal with a patient who might survive and who might not survive, it might sound inhuman, but it will be better for me to send this patient away from my hospital and let someone else take care of it, so that I don't get the heat of the relatives which is being faced by the doctors at present. Today what has happened is one of the most shameful incidents. I have come to know that he was the head of the department of oncology. He must have been in above 50s and a very senior doctor, and the patient who was a cancer ovary with metastasis on type 4. So I think that it is something that one must understand. A general mindset in the public needs to be changed. There is a mindset that has developed that doctors are looting people, doctors are not doing their job properly, the government doctors are not working properly. But they have to understand that in a government setup, when the food is prepared for 200 people, doctors are serving that 200 people food to 2000 people. And we know that how we are managing it and how much stress mentally we are facing because of incidences which are happening, not the big ones, but also the small ones. A little abuse to a doctor who's seeing the patient in OPD, a little comment on lady doctor. Everything is important. Yes.
Right, you're right. You're making a very important point. You're saying that food made for 200 people, government staff and government doctors are trying to serve it to 2,000 people. So while there are many grouses, Dr. Ashokan, about government hospitals from the patient's point of view, they're also severely understaffed. There is an enormous stress that's there. Is there a government hospital versus private hospital when it comes to safety and security of doctors? Is it far worse to be in, let us say, the emergency response of a government hospital vis-a-vis a private hospital when it comes to, being to incidents of this nature?
Violence in private sector, especially in the tertiary care corporate hospitals, is supposed to be slightly less. But they have a protocol, they have a security measures, they are in place, and it's very seldom does such an incident occurs in a top class private hospital. But violence in small and medium hospitals, as well as government district hospital, taluk hospitals, even medical colleges hospital, the doctors are very vulnerable because of their nature of work. The violence as such is a very complex phenomenon. Even though we react to every situations, all the governments are part of the problem rather than solution. So they don't understand, they don't want to acknowledge. They don't want to acknowledge because there's a shame or it's a law and order issue. And they don't address. Naturally, they don't address. For example, a central law, which is the starting point with which you can have a deterrence. Government never wants to even acknowledge that there is violence. They keep on asking us, if you want protection under central law, then what about auditors? What about engineers? I think even these questions to us sometimes hurts us so much. The nature of the work and the amount of work and also serving every Indian does not count. It's a very thankless job. Doctor's job has become a very thankless job. It's a very complex phenomenon. But the solution should start from the government.
You're making a very, very important point. Before I get to Dr. Anita again, quickly, Sam Daniel, you've been talking to doctors there at the hospital, Kalaignar Memorial Super Speciality Hospital. In terms of security systems that they're asking for, and there's also the issue of unfilled vacancies in Tamil Nadu that's been raised. Is there a sense that they are going to use this incident to push for systemic change? Or is there a fear that this is another incident which will get hyped at the moment, there will be discussion, and is there a genuine fear amongst doctors that there will be nothing systemic that will change because it's too difficult and daunting to make that kind of a change? Sam?
I think, Viraragu, both sides are taking this issue seriously. Technically, this is the second such incident. Just recently in Trichy, another doctor over a parking lot issue while entering the campus on his car, he was attacked. And although it's not connected with treatment, it's a second incident. And now the government also appears to take it seriously, and the doctors use this as an opportunity to mount pressure on the government, particularly in the context of what happened in Kolkata. And from what it appears, it seems the government is taking it seriously. To begin with, 3 quick changes. Deployment of armed police outposts in all the government hospitals, CCTVs to be made functional, including primary health centers, and the larger important question in terms of regulating the entry of visitors. But how much will that be feasible? That's a bigger challenge, because there are hospitals, district government hospitals, where 3,000 to 4,000 people visit every day. Can they ensure or execute that kind of a tough system? It's going to take time, but at least a beginning is likely to be made now to head towards that kind of a disciplined approach, just like what we see in private hospitals.
Right, important point that you're making there. Look, we are talking of one of the top government hospitals in Tamil Nadu, which is a state with much better healthcare than most other states in the country in terms of government healthcare. And we're talking of the top hospital there. Dr. Anita, we've all mentioned the problem statement here. What is the solution? How do we go about it? There are 2 issues from here. One is the security aspect. The other is restoring the dignified doctor-patient relationship, especially in crucial cases. Because in Dr. Balaji's case, for instance, it wasn't an emergency. It was an ongoing treatment. It wasn't a spur-of-the-moment incident that happens. So how do we restore that semblance of dignity that was there earlier? You've been a doctor for many years. What's the solution that's in sight?
Yes, it's a very important question, and it is the second or maybe the primary thing that one needs to look into to improve the doctor-patient relationship. See, this oncology is a different branch. I've been here for the last 20 years, and it's the cancer or the disease is devastating. Okay, if you're cured in early stage, yes, you take the doctor as a god. But then what happens to those who come in the last stage, for which doctor is not responsible? Yes, the attenders fail to believe. They also get into a state of denial that they are in the stage 4. As in this case, it was a stage 4 Hodgkin's lymphoma who had advanced and it has spread to the lungs. So it's a palliative treatment going on. So we need to have a good system of counseling. The doctor also needs to sit down with the relative and tell that is what we are doing is palliation, and try to push the death for some more time. You have a good quality of life. Mother lives with you. Also, we need to have a set of counselor, which has to be a part of the hospital system, who gets into counseling all the attenders. It's not at one interaction with the doctor in the OPD. As you come out, you sit down with them, and they are all free treatment. So counselor advises them that this is the treatment and this is the result, and develop
Dr. Anita, I'm sorry, Dr. Anita, to interrupt you. You're making a very important point, but I believe we can now go live across to Tamil Nadu's Additional Chief Secretary and Health Secretary, Dr. Supriya Sahu, who's just come out of the meeting with doctors. Ma'am, is there any concrete, specific steps that's been taken? Because it's a daunting challenge to protect doctors in such situations across a state, across the country perhaps. What's the key outcome from today's meetings that you've had so far?
In the meeting today, it has been definitely, we have mentioned to the doctors that we are deeply committed to provide security to the doctors as well as to the paramedical staff. They are extremely important. They provide the most essential service. And in fact, about 3 months back, we have started this process of strengthening the security system in our hospitals. And we've informed the teams today that we have reviewed, we have done a joint security audit in all the government health institutions in Tamil Nadu. And the security audit has been done with the help of the police officials, health officials, and the revenue officials. And now this has been completed. The security audit has mentioned the good points and the challenges. Wherever the challenges and the deficiencies are, Government of Tamil Nadu is working on it. Yes, Veeragam.
That's an important message that you're saying on sending out assurance to the doctors. From an administrator's point of view, ma'am, there are issues of unfilled vacancies that have been raised, short staff that's been there. You're somebody who looks at systemic issues for long-term solutions. What would be the key steps forward in that direction in terms of, a message that you would like to send to government doctors beyond just this hospital across the state?
No, you are absolutely right. I think, wherever the vacancies are that have to be filled up, there should be no compromise, and we are at it. We have already announced the dates when the recruitments, etc. would happen. We are at it so that the pressure is actually not there. We are also ensuring that, that 2 committees are constituted, permanent committees are constituted in all the health institutions. One, of course, is the Hospital Security Committee. That would be headed by the dean or by the medical officer or the superintendent of the hospital, so that they have people from various departments within the health institution to take a review, say every 15 days, and to see what is working, what is not working. We have CCTV cameras, but we also need to make sure that the CCTV cameras must work. They are connected to a nodal center and somebody is monitoring the output of the CCTV cameras. Lighting is an important part in ensuring safety and security. So wherever there is, the need to kind of provide lighting, those areas have already been identified. Also, the police outposts, that is a very important aspect of the security. We have the security audit that we have done. It has shown that these are the areas where large number of people are accessing government health facilities, and we will be kind of providing the police outpost. One last point, but a very important point, is that it's important that we issue these passes for attenders, because these generally in government institutions, large number of people access. We want to make sure that the patients are also taken care, so that the patient amenities are provided in an adequate manner. So we have started this experiment with one of the largest hospitals here in Chennai, which is RGGH, and we have started issuing attender passes. So I think some of these steps would help us in bringing systems in place.
Right. I'm afraid we're completely out of time, though there are several questions that I wish to have asked you. We're completely out of time, but thanks very much for giving us that concrete replies that's possibly come out of that meeting, and perhaps looking at the issue in the necessity is to look at it across all district and other government hospitals as well, not just in one state but across the country. But thanks very much, ma'am, for joining us here on the show live. That's all we have time for. We'll keep this important conversation going, but news and updates continue right here on NDTV.